And we are live. We are live. Welcome in, audience. This is Beast Talk. Got myself, Maurice Beast, aka Speaks the Beast, and my man Jay Ice with us tonight.
Uh,
Tonight, we're going to touch on some topics. If you got a topic you want to talk about or you want to hear us talk about, put it in the comments section. We'll break it all the way down. Y'all know how this go. If you want to come on the panel, say something in the comments section. I'll drop the link and you can enter in and you can join the panel if you want to. If you want to join the conversation, you can join it on the panel or you can join it from the comment section as you're watching this. If you hear something you like at any moment during this live stream, hit that like button, right? Remember to also share this with your family and friends because we don't want to be successful by ourselves, right? We don't want to be successful by ourselves. And another thing, this is not an echo chamber. Me and him, we may not agree with each other. We don't expect you guys to agree with us. If you have a different point of view or a different perspective, feel free to comment, chime in, give us your perspective, and we'll talk about it. Y'all might teach us something. So feel free to enter in at any moment. Again, we're willing to learn as well. We're here to give y'all the game as far as we know it. But if you know something we don't know, tap in, join the conversation. Hey, let's get this show cracking, big dog. All right. How you doing over there? Everything good?
yep, I'm good. Just chilling.
Good. Chilling. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, man. Without further ado, man, let's jump into these topics, man. I see a lot of people out here struggling to find love. A lot of people struggling to create strong bonds between, a man and a woman, right? We're gonna go ahead and answer these questions for the people. All right, starting off. Something we hear often in these spaces, right? And we hear it out here in the real world. You got a lot of people telling other people, "Hey, do you? Don't worry about what everybody else talking about. Don't worry about what other people think. Go ahead and do you." My question to you, Jay Ice, is this: when other people tell each other to do them or do you, could that have a negative impact on that other person's lives? Um, and let me know if you need examples of what I'm talking about.
Um, yeah, give me an example.
All right, cool. So I was on Facebook today, right? And
Uh,
and I seen this chick. She was saying that there's some cats who, they told her she should have an OnlyFans and all this other stuff. And
mm,
a lot of people rooting on like, yeah, you look good, you can do it, you bad, go ahead, do you, do you. And I
yeah.
went and I said, don't do it. I say, don't do that. Now, there was a guy at the bottom who came in. He said, oh yeah, don't worry about these other people. Do you, get you, do what's best for you, get that money. What's your thoughts on that? So in a situation like that where they telling her to do her, what you got on that? Could that have a negative impact? Somebody doing them or getting them, or what you got to say on that?
Yeah, if it's a situation like that, you don't want somebody to think you're being judgmental. But if that is your friend and you really care about that person, if you know in your heart that that decision they about to make is going to be a bad decision, I think as a friend or somebody that cares about them, you owe them that deal of respect to let them know, like, hey, maybe you should think about this before you do it. Like, maybe this could happen, or maybe this
Right,
could be the outcome. Um, you just gotta be tactful about it. You don't want to come across as like, ah, nah, you shouldn't do that, just because you hating on them or whatever. But if it's a certain situation that you really feel like might put your friend in danger or have bad results, I definitely think you should speak up and let them know how you feel about the situation. Um, and also, I mean, that could backfire on you. They could take it the wrong way. But
right,
I think at the end of the day, if you really care about that person, regardless of how they feel about it, you should let them know how you feel.
right. I agree with you, man. And I just think there's a lot of men and women leading each other down the path of destruction. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some other examples I got out there when I named OnlyFans, right? When it comes to stripping, when it comes to these women dealing with sugar daddies, right? When it comes to, you got a lot of women out here who will leave their kids alone in the house to go take care of business, so to speak, right? And in those instances, oh, I'm doing me. I'm doing what I got to do for the household. I'm doing what I got to do for us, whatever the case may be,
Right.
or even, like I said, dealing with bad guys. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of women out here fooling with guys they got no business dealing with, but they're
Right.
doing it because they get lonely. They're running out of resources. So they lean into doing things that they should not be doing. And behind them, you have an army of people saying, hey, do you, do your thing, do what works for you. And the problem with that mindset is, even within the society, is when you think like that and when you move like that, you're not thinking about the other people around you who those decisions affect. You see what I'm saying? So a lot
Right.
of times when someone say, do you, more times than not, it's a selfish decision, right? It's a selfish move that you're making. You're only thinking about yourself in a situation. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to affect those around you in a negative way. So
Mhm.
I see a lot of this going on social media where these women are posting all kinds of stuff, whether we're talking Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever the case may be, Instagram, they're posting all these things. And again, I like to rush in and tell these chicks, hey, stop, stop, stop. Don't post that. Don't do that. But a lot of times they will post it and do it because they have people running behind them who really don't care about them like that. You know,
Right.
they just see the clout that's coming from it. They see the likes, they see the views, they see the comments, they see all this stuff. And they got
Right.
this army of people behind them saying, do you go, girl, you go, girl. Right. And I'm like, hold on, hold on. Do you not
Yeah.
understand that this could potentially ruin her life? This could
Yeah.
ruin
And
her life.
it's like they be hyping them up to fight too. You
Yeah,
know,
fight. Yeah, the fight.
like the females, they be hyping them up, like, yeah, beat her ass, but you putting her in danger. Like if you really care about her, you wouldn't do that because you don't know what's
No,
gonna
no.
happen. And it goes for guys too. Like I've had some friends tell me like, Jason, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
and then I think about it, and then when they said that, I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So if they really your friend, then you should speak up if that's really your friend.
Right. And that's true. And look, if you're watching right now, you got homegirls who want to get into the adult scene. You want to get into OnlyFans, want to get into stripping, dealing with guys they ain't got no business dealing with. All that stuff right there, posting pictures online, doing all this stuff. Please lure them away from doing that. Don't encourage them to do that stuff. That stuff is going to have a negative impact on their lives long term. Just think, you can have an attractive female, let's just say she got a nice body, right? She getting the OnlyFans and all of that. She getting the stripping and all of that. That could potentially ruin her life moving forward. You see what I'm saying? Is she going to be able to do that and still bond with a certain type of guy, a quality guy? More times than not, it's not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. So we got to start luring them away from moving a certain way. You see what I'm saying? You got to, you get what I mean? So a lot of times, y'all are egging them on, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. I'm telling you right now, that is going to have a negative impact on a lot of these women lives. The stuff they posting on Facebook right now, all the stuff you see going down your news feed, there are guys watching this. Whenever, even if the guy she potentially gets with doesn't see it, somebody else who may know her may say who knows him as well. So guess what? As soon as he starts dating her, talking to her, and he makes that public, they're gonna say, "Oh man, you don't know who that is, or that's the same girl who posted this, or that's the same girl who posted that." And it's gonna go downhill fast, and she gonna wonder one day they're gonna be on the phone, they're gonna be hanging out, and he ain't gonna want to really hang out with her no more. And she gonna wonder what happened. And it's like, well, yeah, this guy told me this about you. That guy told me that about you. Yeah, I know this about you. And then she's gonna be like, oh, but that was my past. But you gotta understand, we may forgive, but we ain't gonna forget. So it's a lot that go on. We like, see, we don't want no
Right.
woman who been tainted. So ladies, please be careful with what you do and the decisions you make right now, because they will affect you later.
Yeah, and
What you got, man?
if you're doing OnlyFans or stripping or anything like that, do it because you really want to do it.
Right.
Like don't let somebody talk you into doing something like that. If that's what you really want to do, then do it. But don't be influenced or pressured into doing it. Because like Speed said, it could have negative consequences. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, if you're just coming in, the question was, does it have a negative impact when somebody tells somebody to do them, right? Could this potentially have a negative impact? A lot of times we tell people, do you, do you, do you? And the thing about it is, that's not always necessarily a good thing. You see what I'm saying? So again, we telling someone to do them, that generally leads to someone making a selfish decision. And we're trying to lead people in the right direction. So let's be careful with the whole do you when it comes to certain things. Don't be afraid to tell that person, no, 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 that's not a good idea, right? And that's the direction we got to start moving in, as a community, as a culture, or however you want to look at it. Let's lead these people down the right direction. Anything else you got on that in closing?
Man, just don't give in, don't cave in to the pressure.
Amen to
And
the
if
pressure.
and respect your friends when they tell you you shouldn't do something, respect their opinion because they only telling you that because they care about you.
Right, right. Okay. All right, good deal, good deal. With that being said, we'll go ahead and segue. The next question, Jay Ice, is how important is it to balance getting to the bag / working versus the romance that we have in our lives? How important is it to balance getting to the bag / working versus having that good romance in our life? How important is that balance, Jay?
Extremely important. Um, so when I was in the military, I ran across a lot of high-ranking individuals, sergeant majors in particular.
Uh-huh.
Um, those guys, those guys make like $10,000 a month at least.
Woo-wee.
But and just about everyone I ran across, they were getting divorced. They didn't talk to their kids. Their kids hated them because they were gone their whole lives. Um, and they just wasn't never there. Like they were always working, and it had negative consequences on their personal relationships and life. Um, you have to find a balance. It's good to have money,
Right,
but money does not bring happiness.
right,
I throughout my life, I've went from making minimum wage to making close to 200,000 a year. I'm talking about
mm,
after taxes.
mm,
Um, and when I was making closer to 200,000 a year, I was probably at my worst.
oh really?
Um, yeah, I was miserable because all I did was work. Um, I wasn't spending much time with my kids.
Mm,
And the money actually created more problems, believe it or not. Like the whole Jay-Z, he said more money, more problems.
right, right,
I never really understood that phrase until I had a lot of money. And then
right.
I sat down one day and thought about it. I'm like, man, I got so many problems right now. Like I got all this
Ah,
money, but I got so
yeah,
many problems.
man.
So, and then as far as relationships go, you have to focus on what's important in your life. And your wife is one of the most important, if not the most important thing in your life. So if you lose focus on that, then bad things can happen. Just like I seen the TMZ video of Judge Mathis. They interviewed him, and his wife filed divorce, and he said it was the worst day of his life, and that yeah, worst day of his life, and he neglected his wife because he was on TV doing the judge shows. He was making all this money, but he was like, man, I was never home. I was never there for her. So you definitely got to find a balance. You got to do what you got to do to pay the bills, but at the end of the day, you got to focus on what's important.
What about from the woman's side? You know, the women who get into the bag. What do you say to them?
It goes both ways.
Okay.
If you neglect your husband, I'll just tell you now, to the ladies out there listening, if you neglect your husband and don't show him no love or attention, I can almost guarantee you he's gonna sleep with another woman. I can almost guarantee you it's not in every case, but a lot of cases that's what happens. So yeah, it's just as important for women.
Oh man, so he say they still gonna sleep with him. All right. So my man James come in. He say, so what? So what do you focus on when the marriage ain't working out, and you know it ain't gonna work?
I mean, if you know it ain't gonna work, then it's time to make some moves. Like, oh, your end. If you know for sure, it ain't gonna work. There's a lot of things to think about as far as your future goes. But I always think if your marriage is falling apart, you should always try to make it work. To give it your honest attempt, your best attempt to make it work. But if all else fails, you got to go your separate ways. You got to go
You
your
saying
separate
no
ways.
matter what?
No matter what, you should try to make it work.
Yeah.
Stop the cap.
I think in most situations, yes, not all. There's situations. There's situations where you shouldn't try to make it work, but in most situations, I think you could try to make it work.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think I think if the marriage is over and you know it ain't gonna work, I say you definitely have a conversation. And if you have to bring in wise counsel, whether it be counseling, therapy, or a coach, do that. And this is after you've talked to her and you've seen kind of whatever's going on go on for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, you're gonna have to make your decision. You know what I'm saying? If you see it ain't gonna work, I'm big on nipping it in the bud. If you guys have went through all the proper channels and you just see like, man, this ain't going nowhere, man. This ain't, you know, it's making each day harder to live with this person. You know what I'm saying? I don't see, you know, especially if now, and it could be different. I'm very spiritual. So with that being said, like I'm living for God. I'm trying to do God's will in my life. So if that person is getting away of me doing that, meaning I'm waking up miserable, you know, I ain't wanting to praise God. I ain't wanting to live for him. I ain't wanting to move. I ain't wanting to be nice to people. I ain't wanting to be a loving person. I ain't wanting to do this. I ain't wanting to do that. It ain't gonna work. You know, I'm gonna have to nip it in the bud if it's going down that path. You know, but to answer the question, how important is balancing the love and the romance and getting to the bag and all that. It's very important. If you're in a serious relationship or a marriage, it's very important to, you got to have that balance. A lot of times, a lot of guys and females in this day and age, they're leaning more towards getting to the bag, right? They're leaning more towards getting to the bag. And I understand that because you need money in most cases to survive, to pay your bills, to have a good, healthy, happy lifestyle. You need those funds, you know. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out here getting neglected by their spouse, or it could go both ways because they're so focused on getting to the money to where they're not spending time with their wife, their family, so on and so forth. And I'm telling you, it gets old. Even in situations where people are getting all the things they want and they live where they want and they get the cars they want and they can take trips like they want. A lot of the times, as the years go on, it gets old and people starting to leave these marriages. I see a lot of people leaving millionaires every day. And you would think, oh, but they get into the bed, they got money. It doesn't matter. We're human beings and we need love. We need hand on hand love. And if you think that the money gonna do it, whether you're a male or a female, you are sadly mistaken. There are people divorcing, breaking up, all that stuff every single day because they lean on the money. And I'm telling you, money is not gonna save a relationship or a marriage long term. Temporarily, it will, because a lot of times people may come in and they might have different financial issues that need to be taken care of. So that person, coming in and shout out to you, Tashaya. You got a lot of people coming in and, they got financial issues. So they might say, oh, yeah, I need a man with money, or I need a woman with money that can help me with these things, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you right now, once that stuff is taken care of on the financial end, now it's like, all right, what else do you bring to the table? You see what I'm saying? Because we need that love and affection one way or another. We need love and affection. And if you just think it's about the dollars, I'm telling you, you're going to be sadly mistaken. At first, it's good.
Yeah.
And even people can even go years. But at some point, they're going to want that person who meets their physical desires as well. And when I say physical, I don't only mean touch. Shout out to you, Sid. But, it's going to take more than that. Hold on, let me tap in. James come in and say, if you don't have that balance, how do you get there when you want it to work? So, yeah, you got to find that balance. Say if you're working too much, you're going to have to scale it back if you can, when you can. Now, this may not happen initially, right? Because it takes time to plan for these things. You can't just flip a switch and say, I'm going to work less hours or nothing like that, or I'm going to do less work, whatever. It takes time. You sit down, you talk to your mate, y'all communicate. Okay, what can we afford to scale? How can we afford to scale back? Like what needs to change? How do we change how this situation looks? Right? You sit back. You had a conversation. Right? A lot of communication, conversation rules the nation. That's what they say. Yeah, communication is key. So you gotta have a conversation. Once you talk to your spouse or your mate, and you've realized, okay, this is how we can do this. That's what you got to do. But a lot of people chasing that bag on both sides, men and women, and they're suffering in the relationship, in the marriage. There's no love. There's not much love and affection. You guys are seeing each other in passing. And I'm telling you, those situations crash. That's why you see all these millionaires and celebrities and all that stuff. Eventually, they look good. Everybody, oh, look at they together. Just like J-Lo, she just filed for the divorce with Ben Affleck. I'm telling you, it's reasons as to why a lot of these top tier people, they crash and burn. They got money. They need the love and affection. So it's important for us to balance that. Let me holler at Sid. Sid, what's good? What's good? That's Sid Hickman in the building. He said, just a question. What if your job don't allow you that work-life balance?
You
That's a
need to
good
find another
question.
job. Find another job.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've
Go ahead,
switched my
Jason.
work schedule. My bad. I've switched my
Mhm.
work schedule just so I can go to my kids' baseball games and practices. Like I literally
Okay.
switched my whole work schedule just so I could do that. Um, and if you got an employer that's not willing to work with you, and first of all, your employer should respect the fact that you have a family and you have kids. Um, if your employer is not willing to work with you, I say just look for another job. Now that you might have to go back to the community college and get a certificate, get some kind of degree or something like that to move into a new work field. Um, but yeah, like Maury said, it takes time. Like
Yeah.
you can't just quit your job tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I understand
Hmm.
that.
Right. You know. So like you said, yeah, you can't just quit tomorrow and say it like I was saying, yeah, like so if your job don't allow you to have that work-life balance, it's time for you to start looking at some other options. And I know that sounds crucial. I hate to really say that because you got a lot of good jobs and careers out here. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just walk away from a good job or career. So I don't say that in the way of me not understanding, because I understand it's tough to get some of these jobs and careers that we have. But again, are you going to leave that at the deficit of your relationship, your marriage? So we got to be careful what's at stake here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just giving you guys the game. I don't make the rules. I just report them. And what I'm telling you based off of what I'm seeing is there are a lot of men and women in relationships and marriages, and it's breaking down. Now, it may take time for that man or that woman to leave or kind of express how dissatisfied they are, but eventually they're gonna do it if you guys don't have a balance and you're not spending the time and doing fun things with them, so on and so forth. Now, it can't be all fun. They got to understand that too. Hey, we got to get to work. It is what it is, because this economy is crazy. Everything is expensive. I understand. But you have to find some type of balance or come to some type of understanding. And that starts with a conversation about how much you have to work, right? So there's a line, right? You have a line. This is what we gotta bring in. There's no going below this. And then there's that cushion, and then we're doing extra to kind of make sure we're good in the future. So you just gotta find that balance and say, all right, I'll cut it here, or I'll stop it there. But you gotta find that balance. But if you work, I'm just telling you what's going to happen if there's no type of balance there. I'm just telling you how that's going to end. I'm just telling you that. Uh, Shout out to Tashaya or Tashaya, how do you want to Tashaya? I'm sure it's Tashaya. Appreciate that. James come in and say, what if your job pay most of the bills? Well, if your job pay most of the bills, I think that that's the case in most cases. And if that is the case, what I say is this: that's where you sit down with your spouse and you had that conversation, and he or she should understand, hey, look, this is what's paying the bills. Like, if I stop, what we're gonna cut off, what we're gonna cut at? What light, I mean, can't cut the lights, can't cut the water, what cable, Wi-Fi, other things we spending money on, the type of food we eating. I mean, what we gonna cut at? Shoes, clothes, gas we burning when we driving the cars, traveling. So you all these different expenses. The kids. What we're gonna cut from the kids. So once you map everything out, you see what I'm saying. Your partner should understand. All right, this job paying most of the bills, so we can't cut here or we can't cut there. You see where I'm going? So that's how I would answer that. If your job paying most of the bills, your spouse should understand, I gotta work these amount of hours, or we don't eat how we've been eating. Let me just say it like that. So it's always good to break that stuff down. But ladies and gentlemen, there has to be some type of balance. A lot of people in this day and age, a lot of people, in this 2024, y'all thinking it's all about the bag. And that is the reason why the market is the way it is when it comes to this relationship, this dating, these marriages are going in the toilet. The rates are going in the toilet because people are so after the bag. I'm telling you, you don't have to have it all. We don't have to have it all. I know we got social media. I know we got all this stuff on TV. I know we see people getting these new cars and all these new gadgets every day. I'm telling you, you don't have to have it all because it's at the expense of your relationships, your marriages. And I'm telling you, this stuff is going to go down the drain more and more and more if we continue to solely chase the bag and not find a balance and learn how to spend time with those of the opposite sex. You have to make the time. You have to put in the effort. The money alone is not going to do it. That is not how God wired us. The money alone is not going to do it. I know somebody told you it would. I know they told you money was everything. Money does help. Don't get it twisted. Money helps big time, but it can't be everything. Or again, your relationships and your marriages are going to continue to go down the drain, even if it takes a while. I promise you, it's going to go down the drain at some point if you have no balance. Shout out to James coming in. He says, I agree. Did we touch everything on that, or did we leave anything out? on the
Yeah,
balance and the romance? And you want to
yeah.
get into any specifics?
I'll just close with this on that topic. Just want to say to everybody out there, I know it's hard. Um, like James said, a lot of times your paycheck is covering all the bills, and you ain't got no choice. But like Maury said, it comes back to your significant other being understanding in that situation. So it's a lot of tough situations out there. So, but money is not the most important thing in life. That's a fact.
Right.
That's all I got on that.
All right. And let me talk to my men before I close out this subject right here. Fellas out there listening, check this out, fellas. Whether you're watching this live or you catch this on the replay, listen to me. As leaders, we have to spend time with our women. I know you like to work all day. I know you like to hang out with the fellas. I know you like to do everything else, work on a project you got going on. Check this out, fellas. If you have a lady, you have to spend time with her. You have to continue to date her. Fellas, listen, you have to continue to date her. I'm telling you, that's what's going to keep that relationship and or that marriage in a healthy state. You have to continue to date her. Now, if you guys are having issues, if she makes it hard, sit down, had a conversation saying we have a disconnect. We don't have that spark. We don't have the chemistry. We don't have a connection. Had a conversation with her. But again, as leaders, as men, you should be able to do that. If you can't do that, if you cannot continue to date her, you need to come to a decision, right? Is it that bad? Ask yourself, is it that bad? If it's that bad, you need to have I'd rather you had a conversation now than to have it 15, 20 years later and go through all these years of misery. I'm gonna say it again. I'd rather you had a conversation right now as to why things aren't where they need to be, why you aren't really trying to date it like that. You ain't really trying to do it. Now, if it's for a financial reason, that's understandable. The economy tough. You guys may not can afford to do some of those things. That's very understandable. If that's your situation, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad if that's your situation. But if that's not your situation, if it's simply because you just don't want to, you don't feel like it ain't in your spirit, have a conversation, see if you guys can come to a common ground and see how can you guys get back on track. Right. But guys, continue as leaders, continue to date your women. And again, if y'all ain't in that place, had a conversation, maybe time to, but had a conversation first. Seek wise counsel if you need to, but continue to date your women. You got to have that balance, guys. We got to have a balance. All right. 10-4 on that. 10-4 on that. All right, let's segue. I got a good question for you, Ice. I got a good question for you. At what age is it too late for women to become marriage minded? I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. At what age is it too late for most women to become marriage minded? Let's get it.
That's a good question. I would say it's never too late, but
Okay.
there is a but there.
Uh-huh.
The longer you wait, the harder you're making it to be married. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Most men. Well, I don't. I don't know how to answer this question exactly, but um, definitely the earlier the better. I don't. If you wait till you're like 50 years old, it's like
Right.
how did it take you that long to arrive to that point? You know. Um, so I just say the earlier the better. I think you can get married later in life if you're a woman. I think that's possible. Um, but I could see why waiting that long would be might be an issue. Maybe you can
Okay.
I don't have any good examples,
Any
Maury,
good
but maybe you
examples?
can, yeah, maybe you can
Okay.
elaborate.
Okay. So based on what you're seeing out here, so you're on social media and you're out here in the real world. So you have different types of women. You have women who, they've always been marriage minded. They just haven't met the right one yet. You also, so you can just tell, like, if you get with them, if someone gets with them and they get the right person, uh, they got a good chance of things going the distance. You know what I'm saying? Based on their mentality. Then you have a lot of women out here we see online. They post certain statuses. They're shooting certain types of videos. They're doing certain types of things, and you're like, oh, this woman ain't got it. She'll never have a chance because of the stuff she's saying online or the way she move in real life or what she got going on. And that woman right there, she's clearly not marriage minded. So let's just say for that woman right there, let's just say you've been following or knowing somebody for, let's just say 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. At what point in their life, if you're watching it from the outside looking in, can you clearly look at this woman and say, all right, she done hit this age, it's pretty much a wrap. It ain't gonna change. Like, she's stuck on being this way. Like, what age is that?
I mean, I think,
For the ones who ain't there yet. Like I said, some of them just haven't found the right one. I ain't talking about them.
yeah,
I'm talking about the ones who going this way and you like, never. At what age could you think they can flip the switch, if possible? And you be like, all right, now they got a chance to,
I,
I think they.
I mean, I hate to say a number because, like I said, it depends, but I would say by 30, by,
Okay.
by 30 years old, I think you should be mature enough and you should have all the partying and, you know, the partying and everything, all that should be out of your system, especially for women, because women mature faster than men.
Okay.
Um, so I would say 30, 35 at the latest. Um, because if you making if you making videos, Facebook posts as an older woman, you 30 plus years old, and you still have the mindset of a 20-year-old, like me as a guy looking at you, I don't want to deal with you because
Right.
I feel like you should have had it figured out by now. You know what I'm saying? If you was
Okay.
really serious, if you was serious about ever getting married in the first place.
Okay. So you saying about 30, 35?
Yeah,
That's pretty much when you want to nip it in the bud.
yeah.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you said 35. That's
At the
when,
latest.
at the
Yeah.
latest, that's when it's too late for a woman to really flip that switch and become marriage minded, about 35. He's saying after 35, it's pretty much a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much a wrap after the age of 35. Um, you know, and another thing, if you're watching this at any moment, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button. But for me, I'm gonna say 40.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 40. I'm gonna say by the time a woman reaches the age of 40, if she is not marriage minded, it's pretty much a wrap for her. Yep. I'm gonna say by the time she reaches the age of 40, if she is not marriage minded yet, it's pretty much a wrap for her. You can hang it up.
Okay.
I don't.
But
Go ahead.
more is a little nicer than I am.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. I'll be nice on this one, man. Ladies out there, after you hit 40, if you still ain't marriage minded, hey, let me tell you, it's pretty much a wrap for you. And that's the majority of women once they reach that age of 40. I mean, it's a slim chance after that, but usually I don't see it. I see a lot of women on my timeline. They post certain things. They post certain video. I mean, certain comments. Or certain memes they share or repost. And again, it's the same stuff all day, every day. And I know that the men that see that and that's watching that wouldn't give those women a chance. Now they give them a chance in the bedroom, right? So let's touch on that too while we're here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hit it all. I ain't even got time to play with them. Look, listen, ladies. There's a huge difference between a man wanting you for sexual activity versus wanting to be with you long term. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. There's a huge difference between someone wanting you in a sexual way in the bedroom versus them wanting to be with you long term. Right? So don't get caught up just because you're getting likes and comments all day long and people viewing your stuff all day long. That doesn't mean that these people will elect to be with you long term. So, like I was saying, I say the age of 40. Those are the women who are 40 or above, if they were not already marriage minded. Now, this doesn't mean you cannot get married after the age of 40, but it does mean that if you are not in the proper state of mind, chances are that it's not going to happen for you. If you are not already in a proper state of mind, you are probably not going to get married after the age of 40, right? Usually that mindset doesn't switch. There's not a flip of a switch. And it could be, it's possible. But a lot of times when women get older, they start reflecting on their lives. They start to get lonely. Maybe they have kids and the kids move out the house and away. So now they're more lonelier. Because sometimes a woman having a kid or kids in her presence or in her household, she's kind of all right. She's all right. Okay, I still got my kids. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But after those kids leave the nest, as they say, that's when things start setting in and the walls start closing in on a lot of women. They hit what they call the wall. A lot of women will hit the wall. Now, again, does this mean they don't have a chance? Yeah, you got a chance. But something has to happen. Almost a dang near miracle if your mindset isn't already there. But if you're a woman whose mindset has always been there, you just haven't ran into the right guy, I would say, yeah, you still got a chance. Because at least your mindset is there. You know what to do if you get into a serious relationship or meet a nice guy who hits the check marks for you, right? You still got a good chance you can make it happen. But if your mindset ain't there, I wouldn't bank on it. Yeah, you probably a done deal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anything on closing on that age limit?
Hey, I mean, it is what it is.
Right, right.
Again, it don't apply to everybody, like you said, but in a lot of cases, that's what happens.
Yeah. So ladies, don't wait too long. I don't want you to hit the wall. You know what I'm saying? Start changing your mindsets. Watch what you're posting online. Some of y'all posting a lot of photos where you ain't got nothing on. But honestly, that's more so an Instagram issue. In regards to Facebook, um, I would say the statuses that you're posting and sharing, right? That's becoming more of an issue. In regards to Facebook, I would say it's the statuses that you're posting and sharing, and watch how you comment under some of these posts because you got a lot of guys that's watching and looking. And even if it's not a guy who you would necessarily talk to or deal with, again, you might get with somebody who knows somebody. And they might say, "Oh, you with her? I seen her say this, or I heard her say that, or she's this type of chick, or she's that type of chick." So, ladies, guard yourselves on these platforms. Be careful what you're putting out there because you never know who's watching, right? And again, as a woman, you want to be pure anyway. You want to be pure. You want to have that kind, meek spirit. So the stuff y'all posting on these on Facebook and news feed and stuff like that, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, whatever, everything counts. Nothing you do online goes unnoticed. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. Ladies, nothing you do goes unnoticed. So be mindful with what posts you're sharing and what you commenting under and what you egging other people on to do. Because it ain't a good look for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all getting up in age. And y'all do want a man. Majority of y'all do want a man. You do want marriage. You do want a relationship. So if that's you, be careful with what you posting. Be careful how you comment. Be careful with all of that. Because again, if you are not marriage minded by the age of 40, for the majority of you, it's going to be a wrap. Your mindset got to already be there. Now, if you just ain't found somebody yet, I get it. You still got a good chance. But you need to be marriage minded. Again, when I see these women out here after the age of 40 and they're not marriage minded, count them out. They done. Men are going to use those women for sex. I'm going to just keep it 100. I hope y'all ladies listening. Men are going to use you for sex after you reach a certain age, and guys don't see no value in you being a wife. It is what it is. I'm giving you the game. I'm going to give it to you raw. This beast talk.
Yep.
Anything else on that, big dog?
That's facts. Like you said, most of the comments and the likes is from men. It's just because they want to sleep with you.
Right.
And then once you become 40, 35, 40 or older, they definitely just looking at you as like a piece of meat at that point if you ain't got it together.
Right. So ladies, be mindful of that. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and segue. All right. So this is a good one. So Ice, man, what do you say to this? Is it a good idea to date someone out of your race or in a different culture? Is it a good idea for a man or a woman to date and or marry someone out of their race or from a different culture?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
And I could tell you lots of reasons why, but for one, it's interesting just to learn a different culture, to see somebody's view. But then two, once you really get to know somebody from a different race or culture, you realize that y'all have a lot of things in common. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, so we all suffer through and go through a lot of the same things. So, and then I believe love has no bound. So you can fall in love with anybody. It doesn't matter what culture they're a part of or what race they are. Love, yeah, love has no bound. I bring it back to my military experience. In the military, there's a lot of people from all over the world, a lot of different races. But when we went to the battle and deployed, we all would die for each other.
Okay.
You can look at your relationship with your spouse as the same. It doesn't matter what race she is or what culture she comes from. If you really love that person, you will die for them.
Right.
And that's real. Like I've seen it and experienced myself. I know back in the day, like Southern Baptist preachers used to preach against it and say that you shouldn't marry somebody from another race. But I totally disagree with that. And I like for anybody to show me in the Bible where it says, don't date somebody from another race, because I've never seen that text myself in the Bible. But maybe you could speak more on that, Maury.
Right. So when it comes to dating someone outside your race, I think people should do it. And in regards to what it says about that biblically, in the scriptures and in the stories where it speaks against dating someone from a different culture, it's more so coming from the standpoint of these men and women from other cultures were worshiping a different god, right? So that's where it spoke against it. They were worshiping a different god, and it was leading God's people down the path of destruction. So in the Bible, when it speaks against that, that's what it's referring to. It's referring to that because, again, people were being led away from God, but not based on the complexion of the skin or anything like that, like we talk about and do in this day and age. Now, to further speak about dating people outside of your race, the reason why I think people should look into doing it if they don't find someone within their own race that works out for them, because the truth of the matter is this: different races of people bring different things to the table. In a lot of cases, not always. Some things are flat across the board. But what I meant to say was, in most races of people, their first choice is going to be someone who looks like them. You know, that's going to be their first choice. The first choice is going to be somebody who looks like you. Outside of that, you know, a lot of people may not find that person who they find that bond with, that healthy bond, right? Someone who they match with within their race. So they tend to go outside of their race. And in a lot of cases, this can be the right thing to do for that person. I've experienced dating different types of women from different races, different cultures. I don't know if I would describe it as different cultures, but I could say different races within maybe the same culture, let's just say, because we're here in America. But in my experiences of doing that, like right now, I'm currently married to a Black woman, but in relationships with, say, white women, Hispanic, so on and so forth, those women were very nice. I'm not saying my wife isn't nice. I'm saying those women were very nice, were nice as well. In fact, they might have had an edge on some of the Black women that I dated, in the past, you know what I'm saying, in different areas, even if you're talking about their attitude or their mindset, their submissiveness, their friendliness, in some aspects and ways how they kept up with their beauty, you know what I'm saying? Different things like that. So those things were good. Those experiences were nice. Those situations didn't go the distance because the times that I did do it, those women were out of town. Like they lived out of town. So it was like a distance thing. You know what I'm saying? I had to make trips to see them. They made trips to see me. And over time, it kind of wore itself out because we weren't in places in our lives where we could have made that leap and moved here or moved there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those things didn't work out. But I think more men and women should look into that, because for whatever reasons, it seems like when you take the race out of the equation, you are more likely to find people who you can bond with. And you find people who are more compatible with you in different
Mhm.
ways, and you may like similar things. And again, you take the tension out of it because you say, well, we out here, yeah, we look different, but this is what we love about each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a way to see that the love is true, the love is genuine, so on and so forth. So I think it's actually a great idea for individuals to date outside of their race. I'm blessed and fortunate to find a sister who I match with very well, and the love is strong and the chemistry is there, and you know we're in order. I'm in my order as a man and as a leader, and she's in her position as a submissive helpmate who does all the things that I need her to do and want her to do, so on and so forth. And a lot of those things are reciprocated. But all men can't say that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to have that, and I don't take it for granted, you know.
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just think if you take the politics out of it
Hmm.
and you really look at the individual, um, you look at them as a human being, as a person. You don't look at them as somebody as a different skin complexion.
Right.
But if you listen to the news and to the media and even social media, you would view that person as somebody that's against you or opposite than you in every way. But
Right.
a lot of times that's, well, I would say just about all the time, that is not true. That's not true at all. That person is actually a lot like you.
Yeah.
You just don't realize it because of all the political BS and all that stuff. So,
Right. Yeah. So I agree. So we agree. So we're coming and we're saying yes, men and women. If there's somebody else in another race or another culture who you match with well, you bond with well, you're compatible with, there's chemistry, there's connection. Go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of what the society talking about. Go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and make that bond. Just because they're from another race, hey, that might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. You know what I mean? Block out all the white noise in the background, block all that out. And y'all make sure y'all create that strong bond. If you find somebody again that don't look like you, but y'all are compatible, you have chemistry, you have connection, go ahead and do it. Been there, done that. Go ahead and do it. Don't worry about what everybody else talking about. All right, that's all we got on that. We'll go ahead and transition. Let's see what we got next.
the comments still up more.
Yeah, they up.
Okay.
Hold on give me 1 second. Mm-mm. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and transition. All right, next. Does music have a major influence on the way these people moving nowadays? Is it having influence on these lifestyles we're seeing out here? How do you feel about that? Does music have a major influence on the people out here?
Yes, it does. So I can explain to you why I say that. Everyone remembers back in the day when "Nuck If You Buck" came on by Crime Mob in the club.
Yeah.
You know what happened after that song came out on 9 times out of 10, it was a fight, right?
Yeah.
So if you got 100 people in the club and that song comes on and 4 people start fighting, a lot of psychologists and people that have studied this issue and researched it will tell you that it wasn't the song that caused them to start fighting. Those 4 people were already naturally aggressive and prone to violence.
Okay. True.
But my thing is what sparked that violence.
Okay.
What sparked it was the song coming on.
Right.
In a lot of cases, not always, but in a lot of cases.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter if those 4 people would have ended up fighting later that night anyways. It's the fact that the song influenced that decision to start a fight.
Right.
So I think it does. It goes back to the video game argument. There's been a ton of research and studies on violent video games and kids.
Right.
Most of those studies concluded that children who play violent video games are already naturally violent. Like if you give those kids 10 video games to choose from, those kids choose the violent video games.
Right. Okay.
But I say it does influence you. And if you get to the relationship issue and being married, if you're constantly hearing music about, sex and being promiscuous and cheating on your spouse, if you're hearing that in your ear constantly, if you are prone to especially if you're prone to cheat anyways,
Right.
because that's just who you are. You're the type of person that would do that. That music is gonna make you do it quicker.
Right. Yeah.
And it also, in some cases, I believe, can make you do it when you wouldn't otherwise do it. Um,
Yeah.
it's just like religion or a cult. You have cult
Right.
followers. Cult followers are constantly preached to and told these things that aren't true, and they believe it because it's repeated to them over and over and over. So they start to believe it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it's like I've experienced, like, you as a young man, you're riding through the streets listening to trap
Oh
music.
yeah.
You listen to trap music all the time. You got some dope in the car. You know, it makes you feel like you on top of the world, like you untouchable, like you
Yeah.
can't be stopped
Yeah.
until that somebody shows up at your front door early in the morning,
Mhm.
and then you get a
Yeah.
reality check.
Yeah.
Um, so, but that's not. I'm not saying it to pick on hip hop or rap, because it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what genre it is of music.
Mhm. Right.
Like country music has the same effect. Like,
Yeah.
guys who listen to country music, they tend to wear the Wranglers and ride horses and drive pickup trucks. Like, they live that lifestyle, the music they
Uh-huh.
listen to. Um,
Yeah.
but some people will argue that the music is a reflection of the lifestyle, or is the
Right.
lifestyle the reflection of the music?
Oh,
That's
that's a good one.
that's
Yeah.
that's what the debate comes down to ultimately. But
Yeah.
I think you can't deny that music doesn't have an influence at the end of the
Right.
day. Like, you can't deny
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So you pretty much saying like the which one came first, the chicken or the egg argument. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's like which one produces what, which is a great argument. I definitely think the music has an influence. Now, they say that people are so sure. Someone has to produce the music, right?
right.
So you have people who live these lifestyles and they pump out their experiences, what they're seeing out here in these streets. You know, they play a beat and they start spitting the lyrics, right? But that's only a very, very small percentage. You're talking about the 1%. It's actually less than 1% that's
Right.
telling the stories and putting out this information. When you lean into the 99, a lot of them are influenced by the music. You see what I'm saying? Just like you explained earlier in your story, how, you know, a lot of the people who fighting in the club, when Knuck If You Buck come on or certain songs come on, they already had that type of energy in them. Um, but you still have individuals out there who are making moves out here and doing things, who again, they're let's call them neutrons, right? They're neutral, they're chilling, and when they hear certain things in songs on the music, they start moving a certain way. A lot of these young men and women don't have fathers or don't have strong leaders, so guess what? They're gonna let the music raise them. You see what I'm saying? So when they hear certain things, they're gonna move a certain way because they're gonna say, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I ain't supposed to let nobody play me like this. Or this is how I'm supposed to treat women. This is how I'm supposed to look at women. Or this is how I'm supposed to look at men. Or this is how I'm supposed to." You see what I'm saying? Or this is how I'm supposed to raise children. So whenever you start being raised by the music, that's when things become very problematic. You know what I mean? So the music definitely has an influence, especially on younger generations. Now, once people reach a certain age, you can probably listen to the music and just enjoy it and maybe reminisce on the past, like But it ain't nothing that
Mhm.
they gonna do listening to it at this age in their life. But you got again a lot of young people who don't have strong leaders or fathers, and they are being raised by the music, and those individuals are strongly influenced. Just like we talk about the gang life, you're talking about fighting, stealing, killing. You know, just like you had songs that we don't do this no more. We do is this. You know, saying we don't fight no more. All we do is shoot. you got a whole lot of songs pushing that type of thing too. So that definitely has an influence, even as we tap into the relationship side of things, relationships, marriages, dating, and all that type of stuff. People move a certain way based off of what the songs are talking about. Just like, when all the independent stuff started coming out for the women, a lot of women
Mhm.
started saying, we don't need a man. We can get this job. We can get this career. We can get this education, and we can do our own thing and not have to listen to men. We no longer have to be cooperative. We no longer have to be submissive, right? We don't have longer have to be in our feminine energy, right? So a lot of women started moving differently. Just like you got a lot of guys, they started calling them hoes, tricks, this, that, and the third, which all the words I ain't gonna say. But men started moving a certain way and looking at women a certain way, to the point of they frown upon marriage. They find upon bonding with women long term. To where they're using these women for sex and they running the numbers up and they trying to do this and baby mama this, baby daddy that. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of
Yeah.
that was pushed in the music. If the music wasn't talking about that or glorifying that type of lifestyle, a lot of men and women would be shamed for living a certain type of way, right? Just like a lot of times we hear a lot of people saying we need to bring shame back, right? They say bring shame back because now that we've gotten away from shaming individuals, that's why a lot of them move the way that they move in this day and age, because we have gotten rid of shame. You know what I'm saying? Or people, they get mad when you shame them, right? So that's a big thing. So again, a lot of these things stem from the music. So music definitely has a influence. If you had more long love songs coming out talking about marriage and having a happy family and things like that, more people would lean towards that and listen to those songs and long for those types of lifestyles. But because you don't have much of that, you have more of the opposite. You see the marriage rates going in the toilet. You see the divorce rates going through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Because again, people are starting to lean more into individualism, where they do their own thing. I can do this on my own. I did this, I did that. I didn't need a woman. I didn't need a man. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. But a lot of that is pushed because of the music and also the media. But right now, the question was on the music, right? So that's where a lot of that comes from.
Right. And another thing I want to point out too, I was just thinking about, they have ratings on movies.
Yeah.
So rated R movies, you're not supposed to take the kids to see.
Right.
But with music, everything's streamed.
Uh-huh.
It's available to anybody at any given point. So you just got to ask yourself the question: why do they have ratings on movies, but everybody seems to be okay with the music and what is pushing out?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. You know, so you saying the ratings in regards to the music is
Yeah,
down
well, I'm
or
just saying. I'm just saying you got to ask yourself why. Why do we have ratings on movies and we don't have a rating system for the music? Like the music influences people just as much as a movie. I would argue that it influences people more, way more than a movie.
right.
But again, because especially when certain types of music is repeating the same theme over and
Right.
over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to brainwash somebody, that's what you do is you repeat something to them over and
Right.
over and over
Yeah.
until they actually start to believe it. So
Yeah.
you actually start to believe that it's okay to cheat on your wife, that it's okay to do these things because you're hearing
Right.
it over and over and over every day, constantly.
Right. Right. And then that causes a lot of problems,
Yep.
when people lean into that.
Emotional damage.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, people gonna have to be careful with that, man. But yeah, the music definitely has an influence. You and I both know it. So if we want to see things change, that's a good place to start. I mean, it's gonna have to start in people's households, so on and so forth. How kids are raised, and then how even as adults, how you moving out here in the real world, what you leaning into, what you ain't. It's a scripture in the Bible that talks about guarding your heart because from it flows the springs of life. Out that's what flows out of it. So we gotta be careful what we let in. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be careful with what we let in. But hey, it is what it is. People gonna do what they want to do. And again, if they're not seeing the results they want to see in life, at some point they're gonna have to make a change. And then, like I say, that's a good place to start with the music and other influences in the media, so on and so forth. That's the last topic we got on the dock for today. In closing, you got anything you want to say about it?
Oh, I think that's it, man.
That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video, like this video, share this video, share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. Uh, that's another episode of Beast Talk. We appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate you for tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, if any moment during this video you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button. We're trying to get this thing spread it through the algorithm, right? We're trying to get it spread it through the algorithm. Another
Y'all
thing,
like and share.
there you go, like and share the video. You know, also keep God first, guys. And again, if you got any topics you want us to speak on, leave it in the comments section, put it in my inbox, or if you'd like to join the panel, feel free to let me know. I will drop the link, or I will let you know next time we go live so you can be a part of the panel. And you can join during the show, right? You don't have to wait to the beginning, or you don't have to catch it at the beginning. You can join the show at any moment. I will drop the link in the chat. Another thing, this is not an echo chamber. We don't expect everyone to agree with us. It's going to be times we disagree with you. It's going to be times we disagree with each other. But again, we're trying to move the needle in a positive direction, which means that we're going to put our heads together and have these conversations. It's cool to post things here and there, but the needle is not going to move until we sit down and actually have these conversations in real time. Once again, we appreciate y'all for watching, and we will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.
Peace.